Happy morning, children. Now we are going to see the components of a poem. First, I have taken the shed poem. There's a shed at the bottom of a garden. It goes like this, okay? With a spider's web hanging across the door. What is a shed? Shed is a place which is outside the main house where you can keep animals or some other things, products which we don't use regularly are kept inside a shed. In this poem, it is very the hinges are rusty and creak in the wind. When I am in the bed, I lie and listen. I'll open the door one day. So he is telling, I will open the door one day. That is how the poem goes. He is actually telling that he will go and creep inside he'll peep inside the shed one day. But the poet's brother, what does he say? He says that my brother says there's a ghost inside the shed who hides under the rotten floorboard. So something he has kept inside, his brother has kept inside and we don't want him to go. That's why he is doing like that. So he is telling, so I know there isn't really a ghost. Okay. So that is how the poem goes. If you see the rhyming words in that, if you see a single paragraph, shed, floorboards, inside, head, day, there is no rhyming pattern here, proper pattern, ghost, noises, no. So there is no rhyming pattern or rhyme scheme here. So we can call it a free verse poem. And see this in the last one. Last thing is this 4 lines is called one stanza. We call it a paragraph if it is a story lesson. In a poem we call it a stanza. Here there is one stanza and in this 1, 2, 3 stanzas. So totally one line. So 4 stanzas it is there. And who is the author of the poem? Author of the poem is Frank Flynn. Okay. So it is also perspective only. Perspective means one's point of view. So the point of view of the author and the point of view of his brother is different. What's his brother's view? There is a ghost inside, and his view is he will go and see one day. He is not afraid of. He doesn't think there is ghost inside. He has kept his brother has kept something inside, and so he is telling like that. Okay. So that is a perspective view of about the shed. Next we will go to the next poem. Next poem is Rebel. What is Rebel? See, if there is a law, somebody don't want to follow the law. Those who don't like to follow the law, they act against it. That is called rebel. Okay. So when everybody, this is two lines are there. Hair, long, again hair, short. So it is changing. Again if we go to the next line, lesson, word, disturbance. So there is no proper rhyming scheme followed in that. There is no rhyme scheme. In rebel poem there is no rhyme scheme. And there is a person who always disagree to something. A rebel is always there. That is what the poet is trying to tell. When all should have short hair, that is a rule, somebody will grow long hair. And then when everybody wants a long hair, the rebel cuts a short hair. Like this, the poem, the whole lesson goes. They have asked one question like, when everybody wants to come in uniform, somebody will wear a beautiful, nice color dress and come. Okay. So, like that the poem goes. There are two lines together. We call it a couplet. There are 30 lines in this poem, and see here. What is your opinion? Like that questions may come. DJ Enright is the author. Next we will go to the Chivi poem. What is this? Chivi means what? Not any bird and all. Chivi means nagging. Ida sayada, adu sayada, don't do that. So there is a boy called Michael. When he is going for admission, his mother is taking him. So when the principal asks him, what is your name? The child says, Michael, don't. Because always his mother is telling, don't do that, don't do this. So the whole poem is like that. Grown-ups say like, speak up, don't talk with your mouth full. Here also there is no rhyming or rhyme scheme. It is a free verse poem. And you can see that this is one stanza, then the other stanza, sit up, say please. And next page also there is one. Yeah. So totally 4 stanzas it is there and is written by Michael Rose. So this poem is about your opinion. You will be asked to write and you should know what the poem is about. Next is the mystery of talking fan. Here also, if you see here, mystery of talking fan. Once there was a talking fan, last lines. The talking fan means where the sound is coming, the noise in the fan, it is personified. So the subject of the poem is fan. And who is personified is fan. Okay. Electrical, his chatter. There are his use pannirukanga. I don't quite hear what he said. I hope it doesn't matter because one day somebody oiled his little whirling motor. So everything is like if the fan is personified, like a person he is telling is making a sound. So first rhyming is fan, and fan is not rhyming with any other word. So next is chatter, and the 4th line matter. So B I have written. First one is A, the same rhyming is not there. So A I left it as it is. Then said, oiled, somewhat rhyming. Then chatter, matter, motor, water. All these things are somewhat it is rhyming. It's not exactly. So I named it as B. So A, B, C, B, C, B, C, B. So after A, everything it is repeating. B, C, like that it is repeating. So totally it is only one stanza. See, what are the things you have to remember? How is the poem, the structure of the poem? What is the subject of the poem? The subject of the poem is fan. Who is personified here? Fan. And how many stanzas? Only one stanza. Okay. You need not remember the poet's name, but you should remember the structure of the poem. Okay. So this is only one stanza and the rhyming scheme is A, B, C, B, C, B, C, B. Okay. It is very fun, a lot of fun to learn. Then, garden snake. See, in the garden snake poem, I saw a snake and ran away. Some snakes are dangerous, they say. It is Morel Elson, the poet. It is a single stanza, one stanza poem, and 8 lines. And you have this pattern. What is away, say, good, food, grass, pass, mistakes. So the 4 pair of rhyming words. 4 pair of rhyming words is used in the 8 lines. Okay. So A, away, say, good, food, B, grass, pass, C, mistake, snake. You understood how the rhyming pattern is? Away, same rhyming, some other word is coming, we say name it the same name A. So A. Good, B. Food also B, same rhyming. So A, B, C, D. That is how the rhyming pattern will come. And this poem, the subject of the poem is a garden snake. Here the author says, I saw a snake and ran away. Some snakes are dangerous, they say. His perspective of a garden snake. When he saw a garden snake, what did he do? That is what he is telling. but they are asking you questions like what is your perspective, what will you do and all, and it changes from person to person. Okay, and tell myself there is no mistake, it's just a harmless, for him it is a harmless garden snake. So it's a 8 lines poem, A, B, B, C, C, D, D, pattern is used, 8 and the poem is, the subject of the poem is a garden snake. What is the poet's view? What is his perspective? He doesn't think that it is dangerous. Some snakes are dangerous, garden snake is not dangerous. That is his perspective. Next is a squirrel poem. Even in the squirrel poem, see here, he wore a question mark for tail. The tail is like a question mark. The squirrel's tail is a question mark, will be a normal sentence. But when you say he wore a question mark, that is a personification. Yes. So tail is not rhyming with any other word. Grey play, I have named it as BB. Then nut is C, but the next word is not rhyming. Again way is coming. So totally it is changing here. The pattern is changing. So I have named it like this: A, B, C, B, D, B. Okay. So that is how the rhyming goes. And Mildred Bowers Armstrong, the poet, he is personifying and he is describing the squirrel. He loves nature, and the things you have to compare when two poems are given is what is the subject of the poem and what is the rhyming scheme, rhyming pattern, and whether they have used personification and whether they have used repetition. These are the things we have to concentrate. Thank you.